when I see our company ranking number one on certain search results in Google that I never thought that we would be able to rank for due to the competitiveness of our industry, I consider that a pretty positive result. And I started to see those types of results within months of working with Breaking B2B.
So could you introduce yourself, your company, and a brief summary of what your company does?
Sure. So I'm Dakota Heber. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Checkwriters. We're a payroll and HR company that aims to make payroll and HR smoother, simpler, and stress-free. And I also host the HR Leaders Lounge podcast.
Could you share what SEO, ranking on Google, what it looked like in your business before partnering with Breaking B2B, as well as some of the results you were getting beforehand?
Sure. So this is an easy one for me because SEO was non-existent at our company before I started partnering with Sam and Breaking B2B. We really didn't do any SEO at all. I always knew it was something we ought to do and that it was important, but no one had really explained it to me in a way that I felt comfortable making an effective argument of why we needed to do it with the leadership at the company until Sam came along.
And what would you say were some of the frustrations, challenges, or even pain points that you kind of felt back then, if we rewind kind of 5-6 months back?
Sure. So again, my background is not in digital marketing. So I didn't have a firm enough grasp of what SEO really meant beyond just a surface level of, it would be nice to see our company ranking on the first page of Google in those first few results. When I look also at our industry, it's hyper competitive, and I never really expected us to be able to really make a significant play or investment that would pay off in SEO.
Do you feel like, just to dive into that, I guess, a level deeper, in terms of, I suppose, your company's lack of visibility when it comes to Google organic search and potential prospects that could be searching for your offer, do you think that had much of an impact on the business?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we were missing opportunities just because we weren't visible. We do a great job of being visible in person at trade shows and conferences and associations. Our sales team, of course, does a great job of reaching our target audience. But I knew that we were invisible on Google. And in this day and age, it just wasn't something that was going to help us grow our sales in the way we wanted to.
What were some of the hesitations, some of the things perhaps you're feeling at the time when it comes to working with us? Was there anything that made you on the fence about working with us, or anything you've kind of thought, not really sure if I should partner with Breaking B2B?
Sure. So one hesitation I had with partnering with Sam and Breaking B2B is that I had never heard of them before. So I've interviewed about a dozen big time SEO agencies over the past 10 years or so. That folks have heard of and are very, they have big name clients. So I hadn't heard of Sam, and I came across some of his content on LinkedIn and thought, hey, this looks like a trustworthy guy. And I thought I would answer his sales inquiries. And I quickly found that what I thought was one of his weaknesses, or what I thought might be a hesitation with partnering with Breaking B2B, in that I hadn't heard of them and that they were a smaller team, turned out to be one of their greatest strengths, because he was able to provide a more one-on-one experience, and the nimbleness of the team was a great benefit also, because I found them to be much more responsive and not trying to pull the wool over my eyes when not try to pull the wool over my eyes when they were demonstrating the process.
You've covered a fair few points there. Was there anything else that kind of had that tipping point? Because it sounded like we were maybe a bit of a challenger brand compared to some of the other kind of well-known companies that you've spoken to over the last few years. Was there anything you'd add on to as to what made you take the leap into partnering with us?
Yeah, so one of the other main things that was always a hesitation with my partnering with one of the bigger SEO agencies is I didn't feel that they were transparent, particularly on the pricing and the expected results. So I never wanted to take the plunge, so to speak, with any of those companies, just because I didn't feel that they were being completely upfront and honest about what to expect and what our investment would be. With Sam, it was much more clear cut, very transparent. He He laid everything out in terms of the pricing, but he also laid everything out very clearly in terms of what our expected results would be, and even ongoing with the process that we're going through now, the monthly meeting. It's a very transparent process. He opens up the relevant documents and shows exactly what he's working on, what we can expect.
Going on to the results side of things, how have the results been since you have partnered with Breaking B2B?
So the results with Breaking B2B have been great from my perspective. Again, I'm not an SEO expert, but when I see our company ranking number one on certain search results in Google that I never thought that we would be able to rank for due to the competitiveness of our industry, I consider that a pretty positive result. And I started to see those types of results within months of working with Breaking B2B.
Kind of based on some of the results that we've seen so far, I appreciate it's fairly early stage, but where do you kind of see the business and some of the work we're doing moving in the next additional 6, 12 months, a year or so?
So I'm excited about the next 6 to 12 months of working with Breaking B2B because just based on what I've seen so far, we've hit the benchmarks that Sam laid out very early on in the process as far as targeting certain relevant terms in our industry and, seeing after those efforts us rank for those same terms has been really encouraging. I know that I've gotten great feedback from my sales team as well. So I expect to see more of the same over the 6 to 12 months, not in a negative way, but just more that we're being able to see those same types of results through the efforts that I've gone through with Sam and reviewing the process that he's put into place.
If you had to perhaps put your finger on one or two of the most valuable components of our service and our offer, what would you say those might be?
Yeah, what I like best about Breaking B2B is the straightforward process. So again, when I've talked with bigger SEO agencies that kind of like dominate this market, the process just always seemed very overwhelming to me. And there are a lot of, let's say, corporate jargon mixed in there, almost meant to, in my mind, kind of disguise the process. But Sam and Breaking B2B are radically transparent with their process. It's very clear what they're working on. Let's just say like a layman can understand it. And so I really just appreciated that. So from my perspective, the methodical and straightforward process is the biggest benefit. But then, of course, what any marketer wants to see is results. And Sam was able to deliver on that in a very clear way.
No, I appreciate it. And last one, if there's any B2B SaaS or tech marketers or even founders that are perhaps tuning into this and maybe still on the fence and weighing up their options, is there anything you'd share with them?
Sure. So if there's any other marketers that are thinking about partnering with Breaking B2B, I would just say Breaking B2B is legit. Trust the Brit.